He's got a man wide open. Can he come down with it? He does!
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Inside Martinsville Football here on WREP 15 Sports. I'm your host, Eric Meyer, joined, as always, by Artesian head coach Brian Duggar. And, Coach, first, congratulations. First game as a head coach and a big win over Bedford.
Yeah, I appreciate that. It was a lot of fun. It was a fun night, and it's always nice to get a win, but especially a little sweeter when it's your first game as a head coach. And it is really cool experience.
Artesians get the win on the road at Bedford, so we'll obviously talk with the coach about that. We'll have some highlights of the game here later on, shot by Carl Van Devender, a former student who was down on the sidelines for that contest as well and always does a fantastic job. And then we'll preview the Artesians' big game this weekend, the rivalry matchup with Bloomington South as well. But first, Coach, let's talk a little bit about the contest on Friday night. And before we even get to the game, let's talk about that bus ride down there. You have got to be jacked up and fired up. That's your first home game. You're on the road, on the bus, everything that's happened. Yeah. What are the feelings running through your mind as you're driving down there to play against Bedford?
Ironically, I was more just worried about getting to the game. At the time, it was around 3, 4 o'clock. You'd gotten word that a couple schools had canceled their games that night, and I just kept saying to Coach Dilly on the bus, just get us to 7 o'clock. Just get us to 7 o'clock. Get that ball up in the air, and I knew we had a good chance going into it, and I thought if we played well, we'd come out with a W, and it was really just a stress of getting to the game. That was really it.
You're able to get to the game. You get there, you get on the field, and you're playing a Bedford team. And we talked about it last week. This is not an easy Bedford team to prepare for because, like you mentioned, an Army, a Navy, it's something, they do something different that you don't see every week. And early on, when they had the ball offensively, they gave you a little bit of problem. It was some time for you guys to adjust to what they were trying to do.
Yeah, we talked last week about assignment football and how that was going to be the key. We had to play assignment football. In the first drive, we had some guys who wanted to go make plays, and it's tough, like you said, with all the stuff going on and just being a kid and playing the game. Sometimes you just want to make plays, and they really had to dial in and do their job. Hats off to our defensive staff, Coach Trump, McKinney, Moskrup, and Geltz. They didn't panic on the sideline after that first drive. They literally just grabbed the kids in and, hey, this is on us. We got to do a better job of doing our assignments, to do what we've been coached, play the game plan the way it's supposed to be, and we were really good the rest of the night. I don't know that they had a big drive the rest of the game. We even put them in bad spots a couple times with the offense, give a turnover or just giving up a big play here or there. But I thought they were phenomenal the rest of the game after they kind of weathered the storm there.
Able to weather the storm. You knew they had a good running back coming in. Their quarterback was new. It's a kid I'm a little familiar with the fact my son played basketball with him for a couple of months, and when you see him play basketball, you're like, that dude's a football player. Yeah. And he was a football player, but after that opening drive, you guys did a great job of containing him. Yeah,
we felt like he was going to be key because he's a really good athlete. And does a really good job of running that system and kind of being the quarterback that Coach Weber looks for in his triple option attack. He caused the JV kids some problems last year in the JV game. We actually went back and watched that film a little bit just to kind of watch him specifically. He had 192 yards in the scrimmage, so we knew he was going to be our focal point if we could stop him, and felt like we did that. We probably gave up a little bit more rushing than we probably wanted to. On his average, I think he finished with like 4.3 or 4.4 yards per carry, which is pretty good. But we were able to weather the storm and not give up big plays to him outside that 130-yard run on the first drive.
On the flip side of that, on the offensive side of the ball, I know you're used to putting up some video game numbers. I know you are, so that may have been a little bit different. Yeah. You're like, man, can we just get some points on the board here? But your offense weathered the storm. Were able to make things happen when they needed to, and you got a big-time performance out of a kid you were hoping to get a big-time performance out of in Ty Cox in backfield.
It's one of those things where, as the old saying in coaching is, the film is never as bad as you think it is. It's never as good as it. You watch the film, you don't feel as bad or as good about it. We were not as bad as I thought we were. You know, I thought we did things well. We managed the game. Our young receivers made some good plays. Our offensive line was phenomenal all night. Tyler Cox had a phenomenal game as well. He wasn't going to let one guy bring him down. That was something I challenged with before the game, and he lived up to that. The big thing is we talk about those numbers. You know, 13 points, and I'm struggling on the sideline because 13 points. That's not enough. We got more. But you think about it, we turned the ball over 4 times inside the red zone. That's 28 points we left on the board there, and all of a sudden you're looking at a totally different game. That's a lot of points that we left out there. So we got to clean up the turnovers. We got to do a better job of cutting out the mental mistakes here and there. But overall, our offense is trending in the right direction. And one of the things we talked about as a staff a little bit was, in a normal summer, you've got 40 to 50 some practices before your first game. We only had 24 practices before our first game if you count July and August. So we're still learning. We're still trying to get better. We're still trying to, get their heads wrapped around what the system looks like. So I think we're right there on the verge. We're doing some things well. I think you saw that on Friday night, but then you kind of see also the limitations a little bit. But we're going to get there.
Getting there, trending in the right
Yes.
direction. Let's go ahead and take a look at some of the highlights from the contest on Friday night, as Trenton will roll those here and play. And you'll see him from down on the field from a former student, Carl Van Deventer. He does such a great job shooting, and so I appreciate him letting us use these.
I thought our defense, especially our D-line, was just great. Tanner Smith was our player of the game, but we could have given it to a couple guys up front as well. I thought Malachi Pringle had a great game. I thought Jaden Kistner had a great game. Bo Hess was flying around everywhere. Here he is right here, big tackle in the backfield, and I think he gets a cause fumble here a little bit later on. But Chase Mabry had a great game. He's a kid that we look to he's a little bit of the veteran of that group, even though he didn't play varsity last year. We still had a lot of sophomores out there. And, he was going to kind of be our leader out there for a little while until we get some of the older guys back. Here's Bo's fumble. Has a great play by him. Poots in the backfield there, Ethan Potter off, and Bo comes flying in, gang tackle, and makes a play. And bringing the energy. And I thought our defense was just outstanding.
And you see Bo too, is that like the kids that played when he was little, they did not like to play against him when he was in junior league. And you're kind of starting to see that same energy. Just pin your ears back. I'm going to go make a stop.
I could see that. He's a wild man out there sometimes. He flies around and just hits people. Tyler was awesome. He did a great job just pounding the ball. All I'd heard for the last couple of years was, or about him for the last few years, was that he was kind of this speed guy that wanted to bounce everything, and I didn't see that. I saw him wanting to run people over. I saw him wanting to. He was aggressive and he ran hard. Again, there's Tanner Smith in the backfield. Like I said, we named him our player of the game. I think he had 2 sacks and 6 tackles, and here's one of them right here. He was just really, really good. He did his job. He was in the right spot every time. It was just a great game by him. Great
kid, great personality too. He's fun to be around, and good to see him have success out there.
Yep. And again, I said we were going to try and get the ball to Chase as much as we could. He was kind of the veteran out there. We had a lot of faith in him at this point in time. Again, here Tyler outside with a little swing pass. Again, like I said, you see here, there's 4 or 5 guys bouncing off of him. He wasn't going to let one guy bring him down, and that's a big deal for a running back to take that pride. Garrett Skaggs, for a sophomore, just stepped up and had just 2 or 3. I think he finished with 3 catches, and all 3 of them were big plays. He caught 2 digs for us that got us first downs, and then he has a big rocket a little bit later on, probably in the highlights. That's kind of our big play of the game. So. He was just really, really. He's got a lot of things to get better at, but he's going to grow a lot as a player.
Mabry on the carry that time, and
again, he said we kind of knew going in that Chase was going to have a big game. Just the kind of the fronts they give us and the looks, and we thought if they're going to play that way, that he could have a big night. I believe this was a big third down. I think we got a hold on this play, but you saw there the big run there by Tyler, and I think the hold was kind of questionable, to be honest. I thought Jenkins had a good block on that one. This is one of the plays that as a defense coach you got to love. You got guys setting the edge, guys flying on the backside on a cutback. I mean, we were doing things right with guys flying to the ball and making plays. And here, I think I get a little excited on this one on the sideline here. I'm into it. I'm loving it. Look, there's 7 guys over here. I love the fact that we got all those guys flying to the ball. That's you can't ask for something better. Here's Garrett's big play, big job right there by Wyatt Schrake getting out there and setting the edge. Had to get on Garrett here for stepping out of bounds and not trying to make a big play, but you can't be upset when you get a 40, 50-yard gain. There's that don't let one guy bring you down thing. Just every time he took a lot of pride in that, and that's going to kind of be his thing for the year. Is just that don't let one guy bring you down, and he was pumped, and he has had a great game. This right here was our play, or not this one. I thought we were down to the interception. That's a good job by our defense here. But I think this one right here is the interception. Yeah, this is our play of the game. They're kind of threatening here in about the 12, 13-yard line, and Larry does a great job of kind of playing his man and then finding the ball, and that ended that drive. So that's huge and really allowed us to kind of change the field position, kind of push the ball back the other end, and then we were able to kind of finish it out from there. So that INT was huge. This INT here kind of ends the game, if you will, with Adam Field. Does a great job of robbing underneath it, and just that was kind of the nail in the coffin right there. We were able to run the ball out and kneel it, and it's always nice to finish the game with a victory formation.
Right, absolutely, and you guys able to make the plays that you need to, overcame some of those turnovers, and get a couple of turnovers of your own late to be able to get the big victory over the Bloomington or over the Bedford North Lawrence Stars. And Trent, if you just want to hit number 1 up there in the program bus, you should be able to, and hit the auto button as well once again. All right, there we go. We are set and ready to go. So kids just learning a little bit, and we can talk them through it. Nice job with Trent back there. We would blame Braxton Dilly, but he has nothing to do with it back there. He's just back there running a thing that he does a great job as well. But the big win that you get over Bedford, have you seen some carryover this week to practice with you guys?
I think the big thing for us practice-wise, I think our kids are more dialed in this week. Maybe it's because we played a game. Maybe it's because the offense knows they need to be better, and the defense knows they have to bring that same energy they brought. And maybe it's because we're playing Bloomington South. I don't know. But we are a little bit more dialed in this week. I've told the kids we've done everything this week to this point to prep ourselves for a really good game.
You see the team dialed in a little bit. What's your takeaway as a coach? Game number 1 as the head coach, where you've got a lot of different responsibilities. What are some of the things maybe you take away from that first game as the head coach there?
From a coaching standpoint, I was, obviously some of the guys that I'm working with are new for me. Some of them are holdovers from Coach Whitson's staff. I thought as a staff we worked well together. I thought there was a lot of good communication. The defensive staff, there wasn't a lot of bickering. There wasn't. I mean, everybody was just all in it with the same goal in mind, and that's really good. I've been on headsets before where you got to tell people to stop talking, you're stop being negative, and that wasn't the case. We were all locked in. Everybody was, even at halftime, we kind of said, all right, we're up 7-6. We're not playing very well, but we're going to win this game. So from that standpoint, I thought things went really smooth. And, it was fun. I keep coming back to it. It's fun to play football. That was a big deal for us.
Fun to play football, fun to get a win. And this week is a fun week because it is Bloomington South. Now, you are new to the Martinsville Bloomington South rivalry, but by no means are you new to Bloomington South. You guys have been in the same conference when you were at Southport for many, many years. So you're very, very familiar with South. Used to be Coach Mel Moriarty. Now head coach Gabe Johnson, but probably not a lot of differences between the two teams.
No, Gabe's been their defensive coordinator the past 4 or 5 years. So Gabe and I have kind of squared off as the OC-DC. So that's kind of been a fun little rivalry matchup. I think we've gotten him a few more times. I think we've won in the 13 years I was at Southport. I think we finished like 9-4 or 10-3 against them. I can't remember what it was. So I like those numbers. I told the kids the other day I want to keep those numbers that way and start spinning them this way. But yeah, Coach Mo is a great coach, Hall of Fame coach, does a great job. And a lot of those guys that were on his staff, when you've got a top coach like that, usually you have a really good staff too. So a lot of those guys are still there. They're going to be the same Bloomington South team, similar offense, similar defense, and they're going to be well coached and ready to go.
I like the OCDC. That's a storyline going on right there on Friday night as well that we'll pay attention to also. But when you look at that ball club and those kind of things, how has it made, I don't want to say easier the term, but since you have prepared for them in the past, has it been a little bit different than maybe a Bedford for the prep for this week against Bloomington South?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, some of the questions that you kind of have going into like a Bedford, like what are they going to do in this situation? How are they going to react to this formation? If I do this motion, what do they do? And having gone against Coach Johnson quite a few times, you kind of get those things. It doesn't give you a huge advantage or disadvantage, however you want to look at it, but it kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. So you start to have some, you kind of have a better understanding of what they do and what they're trying to take away. And he's the same with me. So it's kind of that, like what's a little wrinkle each of us is going to do to kind of cause conflict with the other one.
When you look at their team too, let's talk a little bit about what they like to do offensively and defensively. What are we going to see out of their offense on Friday night?
Well, on offense, their quarterback is a dual threat kid. He is he's a great runner. He's going to be a kid that's tough to bring down in space. And New Albany had a couple really big runs in their first game. He played a little bit last year. He wasn't the full-time starter, but they'd bring him in for a few series. So he kind of did the same thing. He's pretty dynamic. We're going to have our hands full in keeping him kind of contained in off of a lot of their zone reads and outside zone stuff that they do. As far as they're probably their top playmaker though is number 18, Blackwell, I believe. He is just faster than fast. I mean, he is lightning quick. I think every big play other than the 2 or 3 that the quarterback had was from him, whether it was a bubble, a jet, just throwing the ball right now and let him go make a play. So obviously our focus on defense is going to be trying to take away those 2 guys, trying to slow them down.
Defensively for them, are they still in that 50 look that they like to do?
Yep, still a 3-4 look. That's what Coach Johnson likes to do. He'll do a good job with walking up outside linebackers and making it tough up there. Their D-line's pretty big. They're talented. They're a big group, which is matches up well with our big offensive line. So that could be kind of a storyline there, and which side's going to bring in a little bit more on that side of the ball. And secondary-wise, probably not as athletic as they've been in the past, but then again, 18's back there, so he makes up for a lot of that. Again, as I said, he's lightning quick. So he can kind of make up for some of that other lack of athletic ability maybe that they haven't had or they've had in past years at corner with him at safety.
So they've got a lot going on. Like you said, pretty familiar. You've seen it before. Kind of even though it is a new coach, it's going to be the same things that they've done in the past. Knowing all those things, you've talked a little bit about it. I know you've touched it a little bit, but what are some of the keys, things that you guys are going to have to do well on Friday night to come out with a win?
It's ironic, but a lot of times it's going to be the same thing week in, week out, really. But with our defense, they got to read their keys, they got to defeat blocks, they got to make tackles. We get a chance with our safeties, our linebackers coming down with the quarterback or the number 18 out in space. They got to finish plays. They got to get the guys on the ground. They can't let a 2-yard game become a 6, 7, 8-yard game. They got to get them down the first time. And offensively for us, it's going to really come down, I think, to identifying their front and communication. I really think if our O-line does a great job of identifying the different looks that they can give us, I think we can have a big night offensively.
All right, Coach, we appreciate it, as always, coming in here and joining us. Yeah. Good luck on Friday. We'll see you out there outside of Woods Field.
I'm excited for the home opener.
It'll be awesome. Everybody get out there and get a chance to watch the Artesians battle their rivals, the Bloomington South Panthers. If for some reason you can't get out there, you got family or whatever, we've got you covered. The MHS Rewind YouTube channel, also IHSA TV and the Champions Network will have the live stream. So send it out to people. If you're feeling a little bit under the weather, stay home as well. Watch it. Our kids will do a great job on the coverage as well, bringing you what should be a fantastic game between Martinsville and Bloomington South. Coach, thanks again and good luck on Friday.
Thanks for having us. Go Artesians.
All right, go Artesians. Martinsville head coach Brian Duggar here inside Martinsville football. For the head coach Brian Duggar, along with Braxton Dilly and Trenton Moody, who helped produce it here, I'm Eric Meyer. We'll see you again next time inside Martinsville football.
He's got a man wide open. Can he come down with it? He does!